Hey, Excel Edge Realty fans, welcome back for another deep dive.
You know us.
Yeah. From the Excel Edge podcast show.
That's right.
I'm Lex, and this is Vera.
Hey, everybody.
Today, we're going to be looking at, for all you Filipino first-time homebuyers, or even if you're a seasoned property investor,
Right.
this one's for you.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Philippine real estate market, and we're using this recent report from Cushman and Wakefield.
This is going to be our guide for today.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
The market it's really interesting right now.
It's an exciting time, but with everything that's going on, it's more important than ever
To be
make informed decisions.
To be informed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, we're going to, hopefully give you guys some information so you can be a little bit more informed about what's going on out there.
Absolutely. And this Cushman and Wakefield report is packed with insights.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Really is.
And, one of the things that jumped out to me first was just how much the market is, it's in a state of flux right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are global challenges, but there are also just a ton of opportunities out there.
Yes.
And especially, we're going to be talking about how these trends are playing out differently across all these different sectors.
Yeah, that's what makes it so interesting. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of market.
So why don't we jump in? Let's start with the office sector.
Okay, great.
Everybody's familiar with flexible work arrangements, and just how it's impacting businesses all around the world. But, I mean, what does that mean for the Philippines specifically?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been talking about this for a while now. The rise of working from home,
Right.
hybrid work, all that kind of stuff. And companies are still kind of figuring out what their policies are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, return to office, are we going to do it or are we not?
Yeah, exactly. And so all that uncertainty, I think, is having a big impact on the office sector.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting is that it's actually creating opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, with the rise of flexible work and hybrid work, it's really kind of forcing developers to kind of rethink, how they're doing things and be more creative.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really starting to see a shift away from those really traditional central business districts.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like, we're not just talking about Makati.
Right.
Or BGC.
Yeah, not just focusing on those areas anymore.
Gotcha. So investors should be looking at those emerging business hubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The report highlights Quezon City, Ortigas Center.
Okay.
And those areas are, attracting companies who are looking to, offer their employees a different kind of work environment.
Right.
One that, really prioritizes flexibility, work-life balance.
It's almost like they're trying to make it like a destination.
Yes.
A place where people actually want to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that's offices. Let's talk about what's probably on everyone's minds right now.
Okay.
Residential.
Yeah.
So the report points out that there's this huge gap between high-end and mid-end properties.
Yeah, it's a big disparity.
It is. So what's causing this mismatch, and how does it actually affect first-time home buyers out there?
So there are a few things going on.
Okay.
On the one hand, you have developers who are, they're building all these luxury condos and they're catering to a very, very small segment of the market.
Right. Okay.
And then, on the other hand, you have this huge pool of first-time buyers who, they can't afford those luxury developments and they're having a really hard time finding something that's affordable.
And meets their needs.
Exactly. And that's the key, right?
Right. So it's almost like there's this missing middle.
Yeah,
right.
A missing middle.
You have the luxury, and then you have the affordable, but there's nothing in between.
Exactly, and that's where it gets tough for these first-time buyers,
right?
Because they have limited options, and they might end up overpaying for something that isn't even really what they want long term.
Doesn't really actually meet their needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what should first-time home buyers be looking for to avoid falling into that trap?
Okay, so first and foremost, don't just get swayed by fancy marketing and all these crazy amenities that you're probably never even going to use.
Right.
A swimming pool sounds great, but if you're a busy professional and you're, barely ever home, it's not going to add any value to your life.
Right, so focus on the essentials.
Yes.
Location, accessibility,
Yeah.
quality of development.
Exactly, exactly. And that's where having a really good agent can come in. Someone who really understands your needs.
Someone who knows what you're looking for.
Exactly, yeah.
And can guide you through that process.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about retail.
Okay.
One of the things the report pointed out was that international brands are starting to look at the Philippines.
Yeah, they're really eyeing the Philippine retail market.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
It is. I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of vote of confidence in the economy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And especially in the Filipino consumer.
Right. So, I mean, what do you think they're bringing to the table,
Well, these brands,
Hmm.
they see potential for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're bringing with them new retail concepts, innovative technologies,
Right.
and really unique brand experiences.
So it's not just like, okay, let's open another store.
Right.
It's like they're trying to make it an experience.
Yeah, it's like a destination.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Which I think is really cool.
So if you're looking at retail as an investment opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you got to really understand what these brands are bringing to the table.
Right, and how they're reshaping the whole landscape.
Exactly.
And, speaking of reshaping the landscape, the report mentions that recovery in retail, it's not going to be the same everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be uneven.
Right, it's going to be uneven.
Across the different districts.
Right, so.
You can't talk about retail without talking about location.
Right.
It's key.
So, prime shopping centers.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are adapting to what consumers want.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are going to bounce back faster.
For sure.
They're the ones embracing online. They're offering more personalized experiences.
Yeah, curating a mix of brands that people want.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about offices, residential, retail.
Let's touch on hospitality really quick.
Okay.
So globally, the recovery's been uneven.
Mm-hmm.
But the Philippines,
Yeah.
come on, it's a beautiful country.
It is.
It's got a ton of potential as a tourist destination.
Tons.
So what do you see happening there?
Well, one thing that's really interesting is we're seeing more and more of these branded developments in hospitality,
Right.
not just in Metro Manila, but also in other regions.
Gotcha.
And so this focus on quality and brand recognition, I think, could be a good indicator for those who are, interested in investing in hospitality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while the current recovery might be a little bit bumpy,
Yeah.
the long-term prospects
Yes.
look really good.
Very good.
Okay, so let's switch gears now.
Okay.
Let's talk about, these are really the powerhouses of the economy,
Yes.
logistics and industrial.
Uh-huh.
And these sectors are, they're being fueled by automation,
Yeah.
the rise of the digital economy.
It's a huge driver of growth.
It is.
Yeah.
So this is something that investors should be paying attention to.
Absolutely, especially if they're looking for stable growth opportunities.
Right. And speaking of the digital economy,
Yeah.
data centers,
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing them pop up everywhere.
Everywhere.
The Philippines is becoming a hub
A major hub.
for data center development.
Yes, exactly.
So before we get into that, let's just take a step back.
Okay.
What have we learned so far?
Yeah. What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Especially for those first-time home buyers and investors.
I think the Philippine real estate market, it's dynamic. There's so much potential.
Yeah.
But you really got to approach it with, you gotta be smart.
Be discerning.
Yeah, be discerning, do your research, understand the trends.
Understand your goals.
Yeah, what are your long-term goals?
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, because that's going to affect your decisions.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is where Excel Edge Realty comes in. We specialize in mid-priced to high-ticket properties.
That's right.
And we help both first-time home buyers and seasoned investors navigate this market.
Exactly. We understand the market.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're committed to finding the right match.
The perfect match.
Yeah, for our clients.
Yeah. Whether you're looking for your dream home or a solid investment property.
Right. And you guys can find us online at www.xlage.com.ph.
Yes, we have tons of information there. Details about our services, our team.
Let's stick with us.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack even more
Yes.
from this report
We will.
after this quick break.
We'll be right back. So before the break, we were talking about logistics and industrial sectors.
Right, and how they're really being driven by automation and the rise of the digital economy.
Yeah, exactly.
So for investors out there who are interested in data centers,
hmm
what should they be looking for?
Yeah, data centers are really interesting, you know. I mean, they're essential to our lives now.
Yeah, everything's digital.
Everything's digital, but
Yeah.
there are some things to think about,
Okay.
you know? It's not just as simple as finding a big empty warehouse
Right.
and sticking servers in it.
Okay, so it's more than that.
It's a lot more than that.
Oh, okay.
Location is still super important.
Right.
You know, you got to think about proximity to fiber optic cables.
Okay, for the internet.
Yeah, for that high-speed internet.
Right.
Reliable power sources,
Mm-hmm.
and even the climate.
Oh,
Yeah, because cooling those servers takes a ton of energy.
that's true.
So a cooler climate can be a big advantage.
Makes sense. And you mentioned the regulatory environment earlier.
Yes.
What do investors need to know about that?
Okay, so the Philippines has some specific regulations about, you know, how you build and operate a data center.
Okay.
So you got to think about things like data privacy laws,
Okay.
security standards, environmental impact assessments.
This sounds complicated.
It can be pretty complex,
Yeah.
so it's not something to jump into lightly.
All right, so maybe not best for a complete newbie.
Yeah, I would say, you know, do your research first.
Okay.
Really understand what you're getting into.
But for those who are willing to do that,
hmm
it could be a really good sector.
It can be very rewarding.
Okay, so I think we've covered the main sectors.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's zoom out a bit and talk about sustainability.
Okay.
You know, the report mentions that a lot of developers are incorporating green building practices now
hmm
and using energy-efficient technology.
Sustainability is huge now.
Yeah, it's not just a nice-to-have anymore.
It's a must-have.
Yeah,
Buyers are demanding it.
yeah, both residential and commercial.
Exactly. And, you know, developers are realizing that incorporating these sustainable features can really add value to their projects.
So it's good for business.
Yeah, it's good for the environment and it's good for business.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
So we're seeing a lot of these green building certifications.
Yeah, like LE and Edge.
Yeah. So those provide a framework for developers.
To design and construct buildings that are energy efficient, water efficient.
So they have less of an impact on the environment.
Exactly.
Okay, so for our first-time home buyers out there,
Yeah.
what are some things they can look for that indicate a property is actually sustainable?
Okay, so look for things like solar panels,
Okay.
rainwater harvesting systems,
Okay.
energy efficient appliances.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to the materials they're using.
Right.
Are they sustainably sourced?
Right.
Is the building designed to, you know, maximize natural light and ventilation?
So they're not using as much energy.
Exactly. All those little things add up.
And it saves buyers money
Absolutely.
in the long run.
Yeah. Energy efficient appliances, good insulation, you know, it all helps lower your utility bill.
Right. And if you're using renewable energy like solar,
You can even generate your own electricity.
yeah, that's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Another win-win.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that's not always discussed when we talk about real estate. Community.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
A property is more than just the building itself.
Yeah, it's the people.
It's the neighborhood, that sense of belonging.
Yeah, the report doesn't really go into detail about this, but I think it's super important for our listeners.
Absolutely, especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
You know, don't just focus on the physical features of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the surrounding community.
Okay.
Are there parks? Are there green spaces?
Right.
Good schools? Healthcare facilities nearby?
Yeah.
Is it safe?
Is it a place where you can actually see yourself living?
Exactly. All those things affect your quality of life.
Right, and the value of your investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, properties in good communities tend to hold their value better.
It's not just about finding the perfect house or condo. It's about finding the perfect place to call home.
Well said.
All right, so we've talked about a lot today.
We have.
We've looked at market trends, sustainability, community.
Yes.
What does it all mean for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the Philippine real estate market, it has a lot of opportunities, but
Yeah.
you got to be careful. You got to be smart.
You got to be informed.
You got to be informed. Exactly.
So do your research.
Yes. Seek expert advice.
Make sure the decisions you're making are aligned with your goals.
Exactly.
And that's where Excel Edge Realty comes in.
That's right.
We're here to help you every step of the way.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been talking about, the Philippine real estate market.
Yeah, tons of information
Yeah.
using this Cushman and Wakefield report.
It's a good one.
It is.
We've got, first-time home buyers. We've got investors out there.
Right, the good mix.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's your final
Yeah. Okay.
piece of advice for everyone out there?
Yeah, I would say, the biggest takeaway is knowledge is power. The more you understand about the market,
Right.
the different sectors, the
Yeah.
trends,
Mm-hmm.
the better decisions you're going to make.
Right. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Challenge those assumptions.
Yeah.
And think about your goals.
Yeah, what are your long-term goals?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a place to live? Grow your family?
Right.
Or are you trying to, build an investment portfolio?
Right. Totally different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Your strategy will change.
And that's where Excel Edge Realty comes in.
Exactly.
We can help you figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, we specialize in mid-price to high-ticket properties.
Right.
And, we really pride ourselves on understanding the Philippine real estate market.
We know this market.
We do. And, we're not just about closing deals.
No, we're about building relationships.
Exactly. And helping our clients, achieve their real estate dreams.
That's what it's all about.
That's it.
So you can find us online
Yeah, head over to our website
at www.excelg.com.ph.
We've got tons of information there.
Yeah, about the market, our services, the team.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and if you found this deep dive helpful, share it with your friends and family.
Yes, spread the knowledge. The more informed we are as a community, the better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's it for this deep dive.
Stay curious, stay engaged, and we'll catch you on the next one.